Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to Unparalleled Universe for another action figure review. And today we're taking a look at the brand new Marvel Legends Avengers Beyond Earth's Mightiest Mark 1 Iron Man. And I realize it's officially called Model 1, but I don't care about that. We're calling it Mark 1. But man, I am so excited about this figure. This is definitely one of the most anticipated Marvel Legends figures from Hasbro for me. It's definitely like top one or two. I'm really looking forward to this guy because it's been so long since we've gotten a Mark 1 comic book Iron Man. The last time we saw this version of the character was back in the Toy Biz day, and I still love that figure, but unfortunately, I have no idea where it's at. I could not find it. I've had this figure in my pile for like 2 weeks, and I've delayed on the review because I wanted to find my Toy Biz Mark 1, but I just couldn't. I don't know where the hell it's at. It's around here somewhere. I think it might be in my storage away from my house. Anyway, I don't want to wait any longer because I'm really excited about this figure. I was able to get it early thanks to the homie MCU Collector. Huge shout out to him. He has a review for this guy on his channel now, so be sure to check that out. But yeah, let's go ahead and get right into it, starting off with the packaging. It does come in the windowless packaging. It sounds like Hasbro is going to be going away from this style pretty soon, which I'm looking forward to because I'm not a fan of this because you can't see the figure. All we get is an image of the figure on the front. It does say Avengers down here, Beyond Earth's Mightiest. On the side, we get another like digital image of the figure. On the back, same kind of thing, and it does look really cool, but I don't think it's like an accurate depiction of what we could expect from the figure. And then right here, we get a look at the accessories, and then on this side of the box, we get some classic Iron Man artwork. So that is awesome right there. But enough about the box. Let's go ahead and get Iron Man out and take a look. Okay, so here we have Iron Man right out of the box. And god damn it, this thing is freaking amazing. Hasbro, they absolutely killed it on this figure. I almost want to say it's perfect. Like there's nothing that jumps out to me as like a huge flaw. Man, this is gonna go down as one of Hasbro's best figures, man. I'm in love with this thing. I'm sure, like, as I spend some more time with it, I'll find little things that I could point out that maybe could have been done differently. But holy shit, right out of the box, I am blown away by this figure. I just love the way it looks. It has like kind of a metallic look to it. It's not straight up like, shiny chrome metal or anything like that, but it has a very subtle metallic look to it that doesn't go so far that that it doesn't look like a Marvel Legends. It still looks like a Marvel Legends figure, but it has a nice like shine to it. It is so cool. Then we have the arc reactor there with a little bit of a blue light going. Man, that is awesome. Look at that. This is a beautiful figure. Man, every now and then Hasbro just comes through with something crazy, man, and it just kind of reminds me like why they've been at it for so long, or like it just kind of figures like this just make me appreciate what a good job they've done. Obviously, they put out a lot of stuff that I'm not into, but every now and then they come through with something like this that is just like, damn, you guys are incredible, or can be incredible. You know what I mean? Like when they really put their heart into something, it shows, and then we get figures like this. And throughout the years, there's been several of figures that kind of fall in this same category, but this might be the first of this year for me. Man, this thing is crazy. I'm so happy with the way he turned out. Jeez. But let's go ahead and get in close and take a look at the details on him because they killed it with the sculpt, the paint, everything about it, man, is extremely well done. So let's see what we have going on. Damn, man, I love the way this figure looks. Starting off at the head, I think they did a great job with the head sculpt. Obviously, there's not a whole lot going on, but I do think they nailed the details required for this look. I like how the eyes and the mouth are blacked out. And I love how the mouth kind of looks like a frown or something, I think that is super cool. And then check out on the side of the head, we have like these rivets or nails or whatever they're called. Whatever he used to seal the two sides of the helmet. You can see that they're sculpted on right there and they carry on, all the way around the head. So that is super dope. Then on the back of the head, we get some scratches. And there's these little scratches like this throughout the whole figure. Not a lot. They didn't overdo it or anything. But, as you can see right there near the mouth, we have some scratches. Then up here on the head. See that? I like those little subtle details. And stuff like that goes a long way with the design like this because the design is pretty simple. But adding those little scratches and stuff kind of mixes it up and kind of makes it a little bit more interesting than it would be otherwise, So it's really cool. Then moving down into the body, as you can see, we have more scratches right there. Next to the arc reactor. I love the way the arc reactor looks, that really light blue is a nice contrast to the dark color of the armor. That is so dope. And you can see the armor itself has a little bit of that marbling kind of effect in there, but they don't overdo it, and there's no like there's not a whole lot of like heavy swirling in there. You know, sometimes like when Hasbro does that, they kind of overdo it and you could see a lot of the swirls. But that's not the case here. You could just see a little bit of the marbling. And we have some details around the arms, and then on the back we have like a little bit of sculpting. Kind of looks like vents or something. And look at that. Obviously, this version of Iron Man has a lot of smooth surfaces and things like that. It's got a very like minimalistic kind of vibe. But Hasbro did a really great job with all the details that are required here. They did some nice work here on the forearms. You can see that we have some more of those rivets, just like panels and stuff. The hands look good. Look at that. The hands are some of the most detailed areas. We have some more like scratches and stuff on the fists there, or on the knuckles. Really dope. And he does have this belt that has some nice sculpting work and some more scratches and stuff. So yeah, man, they did an incredible job on this guy. Some more rivets down the side of the legs. More scratches. Yeah, I love the way this turned out. This is such a cool look for Iron Man, and Hasbro just absolutely destroyed it. They did an amazing job with the sculpting work and everything. Oh, I will say the head is a little small though. I forgot to mention that. But still, it's beautifully sculpted. A lot of great details. But I do think the head should have been just a little bit bigger. But aside from that, this thing looks perfect, man. I love what they did here. And then for accessories, he doesn't come with a whole lot, but he does come with 2 sets of hands, including a pair of fists, and then a set of open hands. And then he also has some effects that we've seen before. These are like blast off effects. You could plug them into the bottom of the feet. And then he also comes with like the smoke stuff that you could kind of wrap around the blast effect. I think that's really cool. And I think these smoke effects go really good with this version of Iron Man, because although I don't think they were intended to be used around his hands, I think you can put them around his hands and kind of make it look like he's overheating or something a little bit. I feel like this version of Iron Man would be prone to this type of thing, you know, or like smoke coming out of it because it's being like overworked or something, you know. I think that kind of works for this old school, almost primitive version of Iron Man. Unfortunately, Iron Man doesn't come with any Tony Stark head sculpts, but thankfully, some of the Tony Stark head sculpts that we've seen in recent Iron Man figures do fit on this body. So here's a quick look at a couple of those, starting off with this one. This is the head sculpt from the 20th anniversary Marvel Legends Anniversary Iron Man. And I think this looks really good. I think this style works well with this body, like the whole era, you know. And I think the size works good too. But it's funny, when you have one of these Tony Stark heads on here, it kind of makes it kind of highlights how small the head is, you know, because obviously this head wouldn't be able to fit inside of this this helmet comfortably. So I feel like the helmet should have been just a little bit bigger. But anyways, I do think this Tony Stark head looks awesome on this body. And then here we have the 80th anniversary Iron Man unmasked head sculpt. And again, this looks awesome too. I love that. I like the way this other one looks a little better though, just because it's like older, you know. But I still think this one looks amazing. And then lastly, we have this right here, which looks freaking incredible. This is basically the Marvel Select Silver Centurion Iron Man Tony Stark head, but this was shrunken down and repainted by Casting Cave. And he does such an incredible job with skin tones. This head sculpt is awesome. I love this so much. I might end up displaying this Iron Man with this head sculpt because I like the way it looks. But yeah, if you want to check out Casting Cave, I'll leave a link to his Instagram and his website in the description below. But yeah, he does some incredible work. But yeah, this looks awesome right here, I think. But yeah, you know, I'm happy that he came with some accessories, but it would have been nice if he came with, you know, a Tony Stark head. I think that would have been perfect. But aside from that, I'm happy with what's here. All right, so now for some quick size comparisons. Here we have the first appearance Iron Man alongside the Marvel Legends 80th Anniversary Iron Man and the Marvel Legends Modular Armor Iron Man. And I've got to say, ever since Hasbro put out this 80th Anniversary Iron Man, they have been on a roll when it comes to Iron Man figures. They have absolutely killed it on pretty much every single Iron Man figure they put out. So it's good to see that they put so much love into such a popular character, and pretty much every figure that they've done, it seems like it's like the best of what Hasbro's capable of, you know? It's really awesome to see, And I'm glad that they did such a good job on this first appearance version. I've got to say though, now that I see him next to these Iron Man figures, I feel like he should be just a little bit bigger. I'm fine with the size as is because it's such a great figure, but I think it would have been better if he was a little bit bigger compared to the other Iron Man figures. And then here we have him alongside the 20th anniversary of Marvel Legends Iron Man. And on the opposite side, I'm not 100% sure what the name of this armor is, but it's another really well done figure from Hasbro. But let me know in the comments what the name of that armor is, please. And then here we have him alongside the Marvel Legends War Machine and the Marvel Legends Extremis Armor Iron Man. And I think it might be time for Hasbro to take another stab at War Machine. This one is awesome. I love this figure quite a bit, but I would like to see what they could do if they tried it again. And then here we have him alongside the Marvel Select Silver Centurion Iron Man. I'm sure I said that wrong, I always do. On the opposite side, we have the Mafex Classic Iron Man. And I think Mafex and Marvel Select could probably do a really good job at a first appearance Iron Man. That'd be really interesting to see. And then here we have him alongside the Marvel Legends 20th Anniversary Captain America, but this one here has an awesome custom head sculpt from Casting Cave. On the opposite side, we have the 80th Anniversary Thor, but he has a custom cape from HarkerCustoms. I'll leave a link to both of their Instagrams and websites in the description below. Be sure to check them out. They definitely give options to make your action figures even better, as you could see with these two guys here. But man, I would love to see Hasbro do a first appearance Captain America. They've done one in the past, and it was okay, but it's super old. It kind of came out in the Hasbro Dark Ages of Marvel Legends, you know? But it was cool that they did it. I'd like to see them try it again, you know? Especially with how far they've come. I think that they could give us a really cool first appearance Captain America. Hopefully we see that from them soon. And then here we have Iron Man alongside some more classic Avengers. On the left, we have the brand new Marvel Legends Ant-Man. I know that's Scott Lang, but in my opinion, I think it works for both Scott Lang and Hank Pym. And then on the opposite side, we have the Marvel Legends Wonder Man. And then next up, we have Iron Man alongside the brand new Hasbro Indiana Jones and the old Funko Legacy Collection Rocketeer. I wanted to show Iron Man with these guys because I kind of feel like this style of armor fits in with these type of characters. And then, of course, most importantly, here we have Iron Man alongside the Marvel Legends Bucky Cap and Marvel Legends Pizza Spider-Man. All things considered, Iron Man does have some really good articulation. Obviously, the design doesn't really lend itself to something with like maximum posability. But I think for the most part, Hasbro did a good job of incorporating as much articulation as you could reasonably expect in a design like this. So I'm pretty happy with what we have going on. There's only one or two things I wish were different, but for the most part, I think they did a good job with it, and I'm having a lot of fun with this figure. But let's go ahead and get into it, starting off with the head. He does have movement at the lower neck and at the upper neck, but because of the design of the helmet, it is kind of limited. So we get a little side-to-side tilt. He could look left to right. He could only look up to about right there, which is okay, but I wish we got a little bit more out of it. But if you want to get him into a flight pose, you could definitely use the torso to help you out. So, you know, he could achieve a decent flight pose. And then he can look down to about right there, but you have to kind of get the chin of the face mask over the collar, and then he's able to look down a pretty decent amount. So decent movement at the head, but again, the design of the helmet definitely limits what we have going on here. And then for the torso, I like what they did here. They kind of took the like Mythic Legions approach, where they just have a ball joint at the waist. And I think that's perfectly fine for this figure. You know, typically I would like to see more, but, you know, in this case, this is one of those rare cases where I'm completely fine with the articulation, I guess you could say, limitations in order to preserve the aesthetic and stuff. You know, I think it would have been whack if they tried to force something into the torso here and broke this up. So I'm perfectly fine with what we have going on here. And the ball joint at the waist is actually pretty good. We get some nice tilt action out of it. Could lean back to about right there, which is nice. And then it could lean forward to right there, which, you know, it's not a whole lot, but it's decent. And then he can also swivel on that ball joint. So pretty good stuff there. Like I said, I'm perfectly okay with this choice of articulation in the torso. I don't think I would have had it any other way. This is like the ideal situation for me. It would have been cool to get a little bit more range out of it, but as it is, I'm perfectly fine with it. And then for the arms, he does have ball joints at the shoulders. I think that it would have been cool if they gave him a butterfly joint, but again, not if it would have sacrificed any of the aesthetic, but I think they could have fit something in there. But as it is right now, we just have ball joints at the shoulders. They do go all the way around, and then his arm comes up a really good amount. So that's pretty nice. You could get his arms in front of him to about right there, which, you know, again, can't really expect much more than that. But you can get him in punching poses because of that awesome waist joint. Not the greatest punching pose ever, but, you know, it is what it is. And then he does have upper bicep swivel. He has a double jointed elbow, which gets a pretty good bend. Yeah, that's not too bad at all. And then he has a swivel at the wrist and a hinge. Same thing with this hand. Same style of hinge. And then for the legs, he's able to kick forward to about right there, which is not a whole lot, obviously. Could kick to the side a pretty good amount. Oh, okay. He may not be able to get like the best punch, but he could kick someone in the mouth. Hey, that'll work. Boom. There we go. Then you can't really bring the leg back all that much. Then he does have upper thigh swivel. There we go. He has a double jointed knee that gets a pretty good range. Look at that. That'll work for sure. And then one thing I feel like they left out that they could have included is a lower leg swivel. Like there's a line right there, so they could have put the swivel right there, but for whatever reason, they decided not to. I think that was kind of a poor choice. That's the one thing they for sure could have done differently. But at the foot, we have rocking ankles. They go forward to right there, then they come up to right there, and that's about it. So yeah, man, it's not the most posable figure ever, but for this version of Iron Man, that's not what I was expecting whatsoever. You know, like what he's able to do is all I want to be able to get out of this version of Iron Man. So I'm completely happy with the articulation. The one thing I wish for sure was different is I wish they would have included a lower leg swivel. But aside from that, I'm perfectly happy with it, and I'm having a whole lot of fun playing around with this figure. Alrighty, so overall, at the end of the day, when the smoke clears, the dust settles, and it's all said and done, I think it's pretty damn obvious. Man, I love this figure. Hasbro absolutely killed it. They did such an incredible job on this guy. I'm so happy with the way he turned out. I just love so much about this figure. When I first took him out of the box, I was like blown away, man. I was like, this thing is amazing. I felt like it was a perfect figure. After spending about a week with it, I don't think it's perfect or anything, but it's pretty damn close. The only flaw I would say that he really has is that he does feel a little undersized. And he doesn't look so small that he can't fit in with your other Marvel Legends figures or anything like that. I think it works perfectly fine in that regard. But, you know, if you start looking at the figure and think about what it's supposed to be, you know, it's a man inside of like this big clunky armor. From that perspective, it does feel like he's a little on the small side. Doesn't bother me too much, but it's definitely worth noting. Aside from that, I really don't have any complaints about this guy. It looks amazing. It's very well sculpted. I love the metallic look that the armor has. I like the scratches and stuff that we see throughout the armor. I love the design. This version of Iron Man, I think, is so cool. It really reminds me of like old, you know, like pulpy serial type of comics. I feel like he could be running around with the Iron Giant or Rocketeer or those type of characters from a design perspective. But I think that Hasbro captured that very well. And yeah, I think as far as accessories go, I love that he came with 2 sets of hands and, you know, some effects and things like that. It would have been cool if he came with an unmasked Tony Stark head. Thankfully, some of the other Marvel Legends Tony Stark heads do fit on this body, so that's cool. But it would have been nice if he came with something that was unique to this body. But, you know, aside from that, I'm pretty happy with the accessories. When it comes to articulation, I think, you know, he has enough. You know, he has what you could reasonably expect out of this design. I do think maybe they could have put in, you know, butterfly joints. But aside from that, I'm extremely happy with the articulation. I love what they did with the torso. And I am having a lot of fun playing around with this figure. So I think for the articulation, they did a pretty good job. Definitely considering what they were working with here, you know. It's not a design that lends itself to, you know, a figure that's going to be super dynamic and super posable or anything like that. He's still a whole bunch of fun to play around with, and you could definitely get him into some nice Iron Man type of poses. So I am happy with that. And yeah, man, like I said, I am loving this figure. They just did such a great job, and I'm so happy that it turned out so good. Hasbro's been killing it with Iron Man figures for the last couple of years, and it's really cool to see that they put so much effort into this version of Iron Man, and they committed themselves to giving us like one of the best possible versions. And man, I really need to find my Toy Biz one so I could compare the two. Without having the Toy Biz one handy, I would say that this one is definitely better. But yeah, man, they absolutely killed it. Such a great figure. And this is one of those figures that, it's just a reminder about how good Hasbro can really be when they want to, Like, this thing is definitely head and shoulders above most Marvel Legends figures. And sometimes it's easy to forget how good Hasbro can actually be at making Marvel figures even after all these years. A lot of times they give us repaints or, things that are just not as exciting. So sometimes it's easy to forget how good they can be. But then at least a couple of times a year, Hasbro releases something insane like this and just kind of reminds everybody of how awesome they really can be with the Marvel stuff. And it's impressive after all these years, that they could still kill it at this level. I would just love to see them do it more often, But it's very encouraging when we get something like this. It's like, damn, Hasbro, they're pretty damn good at what they do, But man, I love this figure. They did such an incredible job, and I'm just very, very happy with it. And with that, I think that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and all that good stuff. Also, be sure to hit the bell notification so you know every time that I go live. Thank you very much. Peace.